Miss Barbie girl. I'm sure you get the gist of that one. Is she too perfect to be real? Does she spend hours getting prepared for an outing? Does she come out of the dressing room with 5 inches of makeup plastered to her face? Well, if the answers to any of these questions are affirmative, then you might just be rolling out with a Mrs. Barbie. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you should go after a girl who cares less about her looks or fails to have a proper shower before going out on a date. All I'm saying is that you should avoid one who only cares about how she looks and not about other aspects of her life. If she doesn't think about how to advance her career or work on her limitations or acquire a new skill, but's always talking about the latest fashion trend or makeup kits, well then trust me, there's a disaster waiting to happen. For the record, beauty never starts from the outside. It always runs deeper. Always be on the lookout for that inner beauty, as it doesn't fade away. Never be moved by her nails or her lashes, as a good character is what matters the most in building successful relationships. And, well, if you're already in a relationship with the Miss Barbie kind of girl, walking away may very well be your best option. Ms. Flirtatious. Next is Miss Flirtatious. Only her seductive glance and flirtatious words could win you over in a drifty. Sorry, that's meant to say jiffy. I don't even know what a drifty is. Getting back to the script. However, before you go about wondering what's so wrong with this, you have to realize that these flirtatious moves of hers do not start and end with only you. They extend to other guys, of course. So if you notice closely, you can't help but be awed at her attitude towards your close friends and associates. From the glance she throws at the waiter when you're both out on the date, to the way she talks to your roommate when she comes around your apartment, or the way she giggles at the jokes of your best friend, you're gonna come to realize that she sees everything as an avenue to flirt. And trust me, that's gonna do you no good to stick with her. That reminds me of my crazy relationship experience back in college. I was a member of the university's press club, and during one of our meetings, I came across this girl named Grace. So Grace had these sexy, drop-dead gorgeous blue eyes, which held some kind of power, and I think she knew it. So during the meetings, I couldn't help but notice those steely blue eyes, stealing glances at me. And goddamn, it didn't take much before I fell completely for her. After the meeting, she moved over to where I stood and initiated a conversation, and before I knew it, we went from exchanging contacts to being a couple. Well, I thought I was special, and Grace saw me as good enough to flirt with me. But I didn't know that she made the move on any guy she felt was good looking enough. Did not take much time before she started cheating on me with a transfer student and ultimately signaled the end of what we shared. So don't be fooled into thinking it's okay for girls to flirt with other guys. Never overlook this trait once you notice it in someone that you're interested in. If she is Miss Flirtatious, then by all means, stay away, as only disaster is guaranteed in a relationship with her. Miss, I'm aware of my sexiness. We all wish to end up with a lady who's confident about herself and her body has high self-esteem coupled with it. However, trust me when I say that you should avoid that person. What I mean is that you should avoid a lady who feels so insecure about herself that she uses her body to gain affirmation from men. In other words, she dresses provocatively, exposing body parts that should be hidden behind her clothes just to get men staring at her lustfully. When you notice that, by all means, look away and never settle for a relationship with her. I get it. You're too weak to resist the sexy boobies popping out of her gown, or the nice pair of thighs she reveals for men to drool over. You might even lose your sense to the extent that you begin thinking of turning her into your wife. Let me tell you, the same way that you have those crazy thoughts about her, that is the same way that other men around have been having thoughts. And trust me, if any of them approached her spinning her head with nice words and compliments, she wouldn't give them any time or interest. For the record, men love exclusivity. They love it when their woman is theirs and theirs alone. Imagine dating someone who other men have access to, and when I say access, I do mean sexually. That relationship would amount to a toxic one. So dude, find a woman that shows that she's all yours by respecting her body and reserving it for the right time. Avoid Miss I'm sexy and I know it. There's nothing in there but air. One thing about relationships is the mystery that they hold. You meet a lady for the first time and you barely know anything about her. However, as you both spend more and more time together, certain things begin to reveal themselves. From her likes to her dislikes to the way that she acts when she's pissed, as well as the things that make her happy. You tend to know them all, even as she gets to know you better. Well, it's at that stage that you have to make a big decision. If she is Miss Nothing Up There But There, then walk away. What I mean is, if after some months down the relationship you begin to realize that she has no goals, no ambitions, no beliefs, and furthermore is an idiot, then you have to take a step back. In most instances, such women are likely going to default to your preference. They'll begin to develop similar interests as you, hold similar beliefs, set similar goals, or behave in similar ways as you. That's a disaster. A common mistake that most men make is wanting to be with a woman who behaves and acts in a similar manner as them. They feel that this would make life easy and relationships less complicated. However, the truth is, lack of mystery and depth will turn any relationship into a toxic ground. A healthy relationship requires two unique identities trying to understand each other and not one partner trying to mimic the other. If your partner is more of a former than a latter, then you are in for a disaster. Ms. Gold Digger. So what about the gold diggers, I hear you saying? Well, in my opinion, they're the worst set of girls that you could ever have anything to do with. It's the worst. You want to know how to identify them? Well, they're the ones who always approach relationships with the mindset of what they can stand to gain rather than what they can offer. They're the type that would love your car, your career, your apartment, your cash, but never you. Buddy, do everything you can to avoid that bitch. I get it. You want to act like the man in your relationship. You want to be Mr. Moneybags. You love being the responsible type, always eager to shoulder any financial responsibility thrown at you. That is cool. Learn not to do that in excess, though. While it's good to foot the bills when you both step out on a date and buy her gifts on special occasions or when necessary, being a cash cow is a complete opposite of that. Relationships are supposed to be based on companionship and not turn into a poverty alleviation scheme. Once she begins asking for an allowance or money for a new phone or the latest Chanel bag and she doesn't even work that much or maybe she doesn't even have a job, you need no soothsayer to let you know you're dealing with a gold digger. And she ain't messing with no broke, I'm white. Before you go about justifying your actions of being with a gold digger because of love, the movie I saw a couple days ago probably helped straighten out your thoughts. It's based on two main characters. You got Diane and Jackson. Jackson had a crush on Diane right from their high school days, but never made a move on her as he felt that he wasn't up to her level. Well, to some extent, he was right, as Diane only rolled with the top boys in the class, those who could afford to take her to parties and sports cars and get her expensive gifts for Valentine's Day. After their high school days, fate brought both of them together once more as they worked for the same company. Jackson finally made a move on Diane this time, and although it was clear she was only dating him for his money, he could care less. You'd like to know how the movie ended. Diane broke up with him the moment she came across a richer guy. For the record, gold diggers are never content, and they would always look for the opportunity to dig more gold. So dude, if you think you have her on lock because you can provide her needs, I'm sorry to break it to you, you should walk away, because she's gonna jump ship once a better, bigger one comes along. You want to avoid relationship disasters? Stay away from gold diggers. Miss Bossy Pants. Over to the bossy ladies. Well, if you want a relationship that guarantees peace of mind, then you have to avoid these ladies by all means. In most instances, you have to look closely to notice this attitude in her. For the record, ladies like this want to always be in control of anyone and everything. They will micromanage your entire life, from the clothes that you wear down to the food that you eat. They would make those decisions their responsibility. Thinking this is going to end here? Well, then you thought wrong, as such a woman will go further to have an opinion on how you should spend your money or the kind of friends that you should roll with, or even go further to change your personality. Trust me, nothing good comes out of a relationship with Ms. Bossy Pants, and you should very much avoid them. The logic behind these bossy characters is that deep down, women who possess this trait feel like they have no control over some aspects of their lives. Hence the reason they take it out in their relationships. To better understand this, picture this scenario. You're out on a date with your partner and the waiter comes to take your order. You would love to get a plate of broccoli, but because she's ordering shrimps and wine, she tells you to do the same. You might see no offense in this, but trust me when I say that lady is exactly what we're talking about. Miss Bossy Pants. Buddy, never think that you can change a control freak, as that habit cannot be easily outlearned, especially if they're not open to it. So when faced with situations like that, your best bet is to just walk away. Miss Overly Critical. This set of ladies is simply annoying. In my opinion, they're the worst set of women to date. The attitude of such women can be likened to the sound of a leaking tap, constant, annoying, and problematic. I hate to say this to you, but if you find yourself dating Ms. Overly Critical, then you have no option but to play the breakup card. Being with such women will ultimately drain you and make you start questioning everything that you stand for, from your values down to your significance and your worth. The annoying part of it all is that they're highly manipulative, always right in every situation. And they place the blame on you for everything that goes wrong in their relationship. Imagine being blamed for her cheating on you with a friend. Well, that's how Miss Overly Critical would be doing it when it comes to being manipulative. And well, it doesn't actually even end here, as they would always criticize every one of your actions, whether it's right or wrong. Picture this scenario. You get a job with a tech startup with a really good prospect, and you're all excited to break the news to your partner. And when you eventually do, she starts comparing you to her friends whose partner or spouse works at Google. That's Miss Critical for you. Want balanced mental health in your next relationship? Avoid this girl. Miss One-Way Street. When I say avoid Miss One-Way Street, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Well, I'm referring to ladies who see relationships as a one-sided affair. Such ladies believe that relationships are all about them and expect their partners to do everything to make it work. They could even back their opinions with some biblical quotes like the man is supposed to be a leader and the woman is a follower. Well, if you ever come across that kind of lady, ditch them. For better understanding, picture this. You're in a relationship where you always initiate everything. From conversations down to intimacy, everything is left for you to figure out. During the special occasions like birthdays and Valentine's, you're always giving her gifts, but you're never receiving one. When you both disagree, unless you make moves to settle it, those disagreements could linger on for, well, ever. In that scenario, you need no soothsayer to let you know that you're dating Miss One-Way Street, and buddy, if you love yourself, you're gonna walk away. The one thing about one-sided relationships is that they could be draining and mentally tasking, and in the end, only one partner gains from it, and that partner is not you. In my opinion, nobody deserves to be with that lady, not even you. In fact, that's not just a male or female thing. If you are like that in any relationship, then you don't deserve to be in a relationship. They are not one-sided. Miss Wishy-Washy. What about the wishy-washy crew? Well, that set of ladies has to be avoided by all means. Truth is, Miss Wishy-Washy doesn't know what they want. At this moment, they're into telling you how they dream of their future with you, and the next moment they're confused and they start talking about, well, we gotta take things slow and take a step backward. Well, the only thing that those ladies offer is taking your heart for a ride. Before you go about thinking, giving her enough time to think things through will resolve her confusion. Let me put it straight to you, it's not gonna happen. It won't. So you're gonna be doing yourself a favor by just walking away. This reminds me of a bit of a nasty experience a close friend of mine had with one of those girls. Iman had this massive crush on Stacy and wasted no time in revealing how he felt about her. Stacy, on the other hand, was what I will term as confused. One moment she's acting all loved up with Iman like he's the best thing that ever happened to her, and the next moment she's trying so hard not to be around him. That continued for years until Iman decided to call it quits. When I asked him if he ever regretted being with her for all those years, his answer was a strong yes, as their relationship was more toxic than it was fulfilling. So try not to make the same mistakes as Iman. No matter how much she acts like Miss Perfect Cinderella when she's on her good days, don't think twice about walking away once you notice she's Miss Overly Critical kind of lady. Miss Drama Queen. She lives and breathes drama, and more importantly, she says, I stay away from drama. Drama with her mom, drama with her friends, even her boss at work is not spared. This girl goes along with drama every time she steps out, and she doesn't shy away from yelling at you about it. Trust me when I say that you can't be too careful around somebody like this. You gotta avoid her altogether. I know you might not see anything wrong with her dramatic attitude, but the danger lies deeper. The danger lies down the road. Well, drama queens always have this belief that everything is everyone else's fault, somehow. They can vouch that they did nothing wrong to cause that breakup, or they had no fault in the fight that happened between them and a friend, even when it's glaring that they are the problem. Those kind of women lack the ability to take responsibility for their actions, and if you go ahead with committing to her, her blame games will in no time seep into your relationship. Buddy, never make the mistake of falling for a drama queen. Believe me when I say that you deserve some peace in your relationship, and that's one thing that a drama queen, no matter her beauty, cannot offer. If you're already in a relationship with one, then by all means, take a bold step, break up. You want to know the type of woman to never get in a relationship with? Then look out for these signs, and then act on them. Remember, relationships are not about finding the perfect partner, as that in a real sense doesn't exist. The way that I look at it is, statistically, the amount of people that are in this world right now, there's more than one that are going to sync up pretty well. So you're never going to find the perfect one. There's multiple people, but you find one and you build a relationship with them. So finding somebody who's imperfect and ready to work on their flaws is paramount. So keep that in mind when you're looking for people.